This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.
Y'all,
This
just
is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. Happy Monday, everybody. How we feeling? Good weekends?
Yeah.
We kicked the weekend off right on Friday.
Did.
Yeah, we had a good time.
We did. We had our host happy hour.
Not our host, you. You hosted us to the most. Your get-togethers are unbelievable.
Yeah,
We
but this
appreciate
time I put y'all to work.
it. Yes. Well,
Y'all had to like put the food out and take the cover off the pool.
I tried
and
to
all
help
that.
with the pool cover. I wasn't
yes.
allowed.
Well,
Yeah.
she helped with our manifestations. Full disclosure, we did manifestations for this panel, and I happened to procure some of those. And my girl said that she could hear me laughing when she was in the shower with the water on. So it's a real. That's.
They were not great.
A little inside baseball.
Yeah.
And they included drawings as well.
Oh,
They did.
Oh,
They
yeah.
did. I've never seen anyone demolish a notebook as fast as Tori. Last time I ever give her my actual notebook.
Yeah, it was so pristine, and everything was written just like these cards that with Erica. Tori had it, and everything was shredded to
literally.
pieces with makeup on it and lipstick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Geniuses are messy, you know what I mean? Creative people.
All right.
Yes.
Let's get to it, guys. Welcome to DBL. Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis are addressing the letters they wrote in support of their friend Danny Masterson. The couple were among 50 other people who wrote letters asking the judge for leniency when it came to Danny's sentencing after being convicted of 2 counts of rape, if you remember. In the letters, Ashton said Danny wasn't a harm to society, while Mila spoke about his exceptional character and said he had been a positive influence on her. The couple faced tons of criticism after the letters leaked. In response, they released this video. Let's watch.
A couple months ago, Danny's family reached out to us and they asked us to write character letters to represent the person that we knew for 25 years so that the judge could take that into full consideration relative to the sentencing. They were intended for the judge to read and not to undermine the testimony of the victims or re-traumatize them in any way. We would never want to do that. And we're sorry if that has taken place.
So like I said, 50 other people also wrote letters of support that were Danny's That 70s co-stars, Deborah Jo Rupp and Kurtwood Smith, actor Giovanni Ribisi, who is a Scientologist like Danny, and Billy Baldwin's wife, China Phillips, is Danny's sister-in-law. So he did receive a lot of support, but we're kind of focused on Mila and Ashton at the moment. And I guess I would say over the weekend as well.
Don't you kind of wonder why, Erica? Please, it just seems like they were singled out.
Well, I think they're the most famous. I mean, to be honest, the other thing is Ashton has had this organization about child trafficking. Mila's been a part of that as well, about child trafficking, protecting women, all of those things. So I feel like at this point there is someone or some entities out there that are very laser focused on the Ashton and Mila of it all, perhaps for that reason, perhaps other reasons, but it's very clear that someone is very unhappy with them supporting someone who's been convicted of rape.
Yeah.
I would say I have a hard time with the word leak. I don't think these were leaked. They're public record. They're called amicus briefs, and a lot of people write it to the court. And Freedom of Information Act, anyone can look at them. I read them. And part of it says he's not an ongoing threat to, society. Well, the man is convicted of serial raping people, and 5 people came forward. I'm not sure how true that is. I don't think it helped they looked like that and sounded like that. Like they didn't really care. Like Mila Kunis kind of was like reading off a prompter. It just felt really sort of disingenuous. And I think people expected a little bit more of a reason to support someone that so many of us, at least in the LA world, had heard rumors at least. They've known him for 25 years. You don't speak to that at all. You just expect us to be like, okay, you wanted the judge to read it. But, it didn't. It was public information and we all read it. And it was, I found a little uncomfortable. I don't hate them. I'm not, I just think it was a bad decision and they're super public and their apology, whatever that was, wasn't the greatest.
Yeah, as we set up to do the story today, I was thinking about have I had an experience like this recently. I wrote a letter on behalf of somebody that I know and who I think is a good person who had trouble in their life. They served actual time, like a decent chunk of time, 5+ years. And, you know, because of COVID, they got out and maybe they might go back. So I was trying to say that they've established themselves in society. This person is a good parent and should be allowed to continue. But at that same time, I only know this person in short chunks of time, an hour at a time. So I know what I've been told about a situation and how I felt about it. But if something else came out and it was saying Al wrote a letter, I'd be like, all I know is this. But from what I know, I stand by what I said. So obviously they had a much closer relationship. But when you do write letters on somebody's behalf, when you take that time out, it's because you genuinely believe that this person is no longer a danger to society. So I'm not defending Ashton at all. I'm saying, as somebody that has written a letter like that, I realize as we do this story that I don't know all the facts. I'm not.
Right.
They know much better his character as they worked for years with this person. But
do they know it better? Because he was convicted of rape. So if they're saying he's an exceptional person and a role model and not a threat to society, I beg the question, they don't know him better than a judge who found him, or jury that found him convicted.
Well, they're not going to, you know, look at this equally. It will be their friend versus the stranger.
Then maybe
accusing
just
him
right.
of
I just
something.
maybe
I
I
mean,
wouldn't
you're
have done
making
it.
a good point. Yeah, but I don't know if people are capable of being balanced when there's a personal element.
Maybe
there.
don't write it then.
Well, true.
Right.
But also, you know, a lot of people are asking a very interesting question that would affect them. Not to say that they necessarily need the money or this was a reason behind it, but The Cosby Show was canceled. Which eliminated residuals for everybody. Will that 70s show face that same fate?
Oh, that's a great question.
Is there a financial component behind this
that's such a good
as
question.
well? You
So
know,
interesting you said
so
that.
I mean, I don't know what the answers to these questions are.
Is it Scientology? Is that part of it?
I'm just saying that there's a lot of questions that are out there, which begs the question why anyone in a position where they are the only ones who know if they are guilty for sure or not, would ever bring anyone else into their mess to allow them to tank whatever they have going on as well.
And don't forget about the fallout. We covered the story of the guy that played Alvin on the Cosby Show that was working at Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
And everybody was nasty and they attacked him. And people stood up for him. I believe Tyler Perry offered him some work because, of course,
I think he's on Law and Order now. I saw him.
Yeah, he's been working.
Yeah.
But do you think that wasn't a 4-alarm siren going off for anybody that's on a sitcom that's depending on these residuals to see that if the big person goes down or one person goes down, the whole ship goes down and my residuals go away? I'm sure that was a thought on everybody's mind. And as I looked at Netflix this weekend, and I took a picture, I meant to send it to the group thread. That 70s show was the first icon. Yes,
really?
I will show you during the break.
Wow.
So.
Interesting. Coming up on DBL, our interview with Hollywood icon Ann Margret. Woo! She's reflecting on working with Elvis in Viva Las Vegas. And a critic goes after Martin Short, calling him unfunny, but others are coming to his defense. I think I'm gonna too. Stay tuned.
No, I'm just wondering about the convicted. We're saying, should we take that 70 show off of Netflix? Because
I was showing everybody.
Al said it's
the
like right
icon
up there.
It was on my TV. It was the first icon.
They took Spacey away.
Cosby Show off.
Yeah, they took Kevin Spacey.
Well, he's on the Cosby Show, whereas he's one of like 8 people on the show.
But I guess so.
I don't know if it makes much of a
Kevin
difference.
Spacey, they took off during just his accusation.
Right, they took him off.
He was accused of it, and they took that show
He was
off.
the lead of the
Right, but yeah.
But do you have a convicted rapist on the show at all as a supporting cast member?
Well, you'd have to go through every show ever, and there are probably several convicted people on shows that still there. You
Are
go
they
through every
accused
single
at that
show,
point?
Go through every cast member and find everyone who ever got committed a crime and take that show off the air. I think that's ridiculous.
But
Two
also,
rapes,
don't
maybe.
forget with the Cosby Show, there wasn't like a judge didn't say it had to go off the air. It's public perception, public persona. So they made a decision saying people are so disgusted by seeing that name. We don't want the Cosby name on our platform.
Yeah, it ruins our brand.
But
right.
I don't know if people. I mean, they didn't take Seinfeld out of reruns when
with
Kramer
Kramer?
had his meltdown. And I mean, Kramer was at that time, in terms of Side characters, the
I agree,
most popular of all time.
Agreed, but a rape conviction of 2 and someone saying something in a nightclub that was completely racist, or 2, and he drugged the women.
I'm just saying in perceived nastiness
Totally.
in the public eye.
Totally.
They're not equatable.
No,
it's
I
just
hear
like
you.
when people see that, do they want to leave your platform?
Right.
That's the only question that they had to answer, and I think we see it because we see the icon on this, and other things like the Cosby Show went away. But yeah, it's
I wonder if it will go away.
I don't know.
Somebody is on their necks, that is for sure.
Yeah.
Because the way those clips are circulating on social media.
I know.
Welcome back to DBL. We're continuing that conversation in the break. Check out our YouTube and check some of that out. I didn't really say much, but who cares? Some stars are coming to Martin Short's defense after a critic called him, quote, desperately unfunny in an article published in Slate, the very popular Slate, titled, Why Are We Putting Up With Martin Short? The critic called Martin's over-the-top comedy, quote, exhausting. This man needs a hug. But some of his friends disagreed. Ben Stiller called Martin a comedic genius, and Mark Hamill, oh, there he is. The very funny Mark Hamill questioned why this was up for debate because Martin Short is, quote, hilarious. Quote from Mark Hamill.
He's very funny on Twitter.
Is he?
He's very funny.
Oh, okay, good.
And he hits back really hard.
Well, I shouldn't make fun of him because he's sticking up for Martin Short.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick up for Martin Short in this case.
Please
but
do.
I could see why younger people might not get that because he's on a show with Selena Gomez, right? With Martin Short and Steve Martin, 2 of my favorites, but maybe it just doesn't cross over generationally.
So yeah, I would love to ask you, but my stand-up, and again, was not as big as yours, was always physical.
More like Mark Hamill's stand-up.
Yeah, right. I was the force was with me. The Schwartz was with me.
There you go.
I took up the whole stage. I did scuba diving with flippers and how awful you looked. I did all these things, and I had the Martin Short physicality, and people laughed. Then someone would come up and stand there and didn't move like this and got the same laughs. It's just what you think is funny. Martin Short is a dancer when it comes to his choreography. Every move is perfect in the way he does it. It's just a different form of comedy, and it's genius, in my opinion. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And
I mean, that's absurd.
It is, but you know, we need to talk about whether it's subjective, meaning that I just don't think that's funny, or that's something my parents laughed at. I don't think that. You think about comedy, there are very few things that transcend over time. There's a reason why some of the all-timers, like Steve Martin, was a huge stand-up. He hadn't touched the stage in forever. Eddie Murphy hasn't been on stage. He's probably influenced every single comic you've ever heard. And I do think because maybe they realize that this is a very generational thing. Sometimes your material, in a lot of cases, does not translate as well. But the idea of going after Martin Short, just saying he's desperately unfunny, is how you attack a comedian because you don't like them. You just don't like them.
How do you not like Martin Short,
and that's
though?
okay.
He's never done anything. He's Canadian. Like, he's so nice.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, this man has never hurt anybody in any way.
Right.
Like, Three Amigos,
Right.
like, from all the way back. I don't get the anger that's coming out.
Because
Exhausted?
he's on that show with Selena Gomez. Like I said, I think that's why he's facing criticism.
Okay.
Right? If he was doing his own thing, I don't
Right.
think anyone would criticize him. But because you're getting in the way of Selena Gomez
Right.
and not letting her shine, I think
Right.
that's where some of the animosity comes from.
And
Good point.
I say it all the time, and you know, I said that my girlfriend said that I was laughing at the note you made, but I told my girl this weekend, I think the biggest laugh I've ever had on this show was Tori when Avril Lavigne broke up with Tyga, I think it was, and he had bought her that $80,000 Avril necklace, and Tori goes, well, she could just make a D and he could get into sponsorship for Advil. And it was such a silly joke. I don't know
It's
who
so
else
stupid.
on television would go for that. And somebody's got to be fearless. Nobody. You're exactly right.
Someone's got to be fearless.
Everybody can't be cool.
courage.
Everybody can't be cool on stage. I
You
like.
are giving her so many backhanded
No,
compliments.
I love
I
it.
appreciate it.
It's truly,
courage.
it's truly
The
fearless.
The courage.
The courage to be silly, and I think that transcends. It's the Three Stooges. Someone falls down, who doesn't laugh? To me, that will transcend all generations.
Jim Carrey.
I'm going to use that with my children. The courage to throw your whole bowl of cereal on the floor. Good for you. Way to go. Way to go, Lawson.
They went for it.
You're a stand-up guy in society. Coming up on DBL, Ann Margret is looking back on her legendary career. Plus, what's the secret to her new perfume scent? What does she smell like?
Bird song.
Cilantro is one of those herbs you either love or hate. For many of those haters out there, like me, cilantro tastes like soap. Many people believe genetics play a role. Verify viewer Gene texted us to ask if there is scientific proof. So we dug into the data of 3 scientific studies and spoke to Dr. Joanne Cole at the University of Colorado School of Medicine to verify. The answer needs context. Studies show that genetics, exposure, and geography all contribute to different perceptions of cilantro's taste. A study published in Chemical Sciences in 2012 tested the taste and smell of cilantro in 286 sets of twins. The study found that 3 genetic variations impacted how people experience cilantro. Genetics company 23andMe conducted a separate study in 2012 that found a 4th genetic variation, which makes it more likely that cilantro will taste bad. But experts like Dr. Cole say more studies are needed to determine how much of an impact genetics play compared to other factors, like geography and exposure to the herb. A 2012 study from the Department of Nutritional Sciences at the University of Toronto collected data from more than 1,000 people from various ethnocultural groups to determine the geographical component of disliking cilantro. They found that the likelihood of disliking the herb varied widely between groups. The researchers noted that people from cultures who typically use cilantro in their cuisines, like Middle Eastern, Hispanic, and South Asian groups, dislike cilantro the least. With your Verify, I'm Ariande Till.
I think our show's a little different.
Our chemistry is just so on.
Sometimes I'm a little mad at my co-host, Jeff.
And my co-hosts have to trust that I'm going to bring it.
Whether you love us or hate us, or you can't stop watching us.
DBL is on.
Welcome back. It's time to go big or go home. Well, it doesn't get any bigger than an interview with a Hollywood icon, and that icon is Ann Margret. Earlier, we had the honor of speaking with her. Take a look.
We are so excited. She stole our hearts in Bye Bye Birdie.
Bye bye birdie, ta-ta, oh sweetie pie.
Stole the screen in Viva Las Vegas. She made 2 grumpy old men smile.
There's nothing like the scent of fresh tea tree just soaking into your pores. Don't you agree?
Lovely.
And showed her power alongside Jack Nicholson.
I know I sleep all day. I know I'm doing a terrible job, but you're not helping me any.
And who helps me?
I help you.
She's been nominated for 2 Oscars, 2 Grammys, and 5 Emmy Awards. And now she has an amazing perfume that smells like her. Please welcome to the show the incredible, legendary Ann Margret.
Thank you so much. My goodness.
Wow, I have so many questions. I'm going to start with, I can't wait to smell Ann Margret. Well, let's get to it. We're going to talk all about your perfume, but I have to ask you about Viva Las Vegas and the high energy dancing in that movie. What were the rehearsals like with Elvis?
Well, we had a great time. He loved to rehearse just like I did. He loved to perform just like I did. I do. We had a great time, what can I say?
So there are some fabulous photos of you and Tina Turner at an after party in 1975. They have lived on, and you two performed Proud Mary together that year as well. What was your favorite part of your friendship with Tina?
Well, my gosh, I was always a fan of Tina. You know, Ike and Tina, I had their records, and I was thrilled when I finally met her. I respected and admired her strength, what she had to go through.
Right.
My goodness.
I mean, Tina was a legend, but you in your own right. I'm honored to speak to you. I can't wait to hear about the perfume, but I also get to ask you about motorcycle riding, which is amazing. You are a huge motorcycle lover,
That's awesome.
which is so cool. Now, I have to know, which celebrity friends have you taken for a spin?
Ooh.
Oh. Well, first of all, my husband. Bless his soul. Yeah, he didn't have a motorcycle, but he bought one when he started going with me.
Yeah.
Wow.
He knew how to get to me. He's very smart. I finally, I married him, and we were married for 50 years.
Wow.
That's 50 years.
I want to say to you, first of all, I can't believe I'm talking to Ann Margret.
I know.
Second of all, oh my God. Okay, third of all, you have an amazing perfume out, and I want to ask, what does Ann Margret smell like? And I don't mean that rudely. I mean the perfume is named Ann Margret.
Yes. Well, my favorite flower is gardenia.
Ooh.
So there is gardenia in it, and there is rose and jasmine and lang lang.
Look at that fancy packaging.
The packaging is everything.
I
Look how
know.
sleek.
I just want to smell like Ann Margret now.
I know, we all do.
Like, I really, really, really do. How did you pick those scents? Was there something that really inspired you to say, okay, this is what encompasses me?
I received from this lovely, this boy, a double gardenia wrist corsage.
Ooh.
I will always remember that. And I carry these things with me all my life.
And I just want to say, I love that all the proceeds from your perfume go to the Vietnam Vets Memorial. My dad is a Vietnam vet. Why are they so close to your heart? Why did you pick that organization specifically?
I just, going over there and meeting, I mean, we were the same age at the time of my visit. And they have been with me all these years, and I want to do my very best if there's anything that I can do to help to all the gentlemen who and ladies who were hurt in the war.
Wow.
I love my guys and I love my gals.
Ann Margret, what a treat. I can't tell you, like, unbelievable speaking with you. DBL Nation, you can purchase Ann Margret's perfume by visiting her website, annmargretperfume.com. Ann Margret, thank you so much for joining us today. Congratulations on all your continued success.
Say hi to your daddy.
Oh my goodness, I will. My dad loves you. Thank you, Ann Margret. Take care. Thank you.
Labor groups are celebrating a new move from the federal government that supporters called a big win for workers. They said the Department of Labor is taking steps to expand the right to overtime pay to more than 3 million new people. So let's verify. Would a new rule from the Biden administration expand who's eligible for overtime? Our sources are the Department of Labor, the Fair Labor Standards Act, and the Code of Federal Regulations. Congress mandated overtime pay for millions of employees when it passed the Fair Labor Standards Act in 1938. The law created the 40-hour work week and says that nearly all blue-collar workers and some white-collar workers must get paid extra for every hour they work above that. But many white-collar employees who work on salary are not eligible for overtime. They can become eligible if they meet one of two criteria. One, if their job duties don't meet the legal definitions of executive, administrative, or professional. Two, if their salary is below a certain threshold. Over the decades, that federal threshold has been raised a few times, most recently by the Trump administration in 2019. And now the Biden administration is proposing to raise it again. At the moment, the threshold sits at $684 a week, or a little more than $35 grand a year. The new regulation would make it $1,059 a week, a salary of roughly $55,000 a year. That means with only a few exceptions, if you make less than $55K, you'd be eligible for overtime pay. The proposed regulation would also automatically update that threshold every 3 years to keep up with the market. So we can verify, yes, a new rule from the Biden administration would expand who's eligible for overtime. But the rule hasn't taken effect yet. It's still in an early stage of the regulatory process, and it could be several months or more before it gets finalized. Similar proposals have faced court challenges in the past, which could further prolong the process. Also, some states can have even higher thresholds than the federal rule, but they can't be lower. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
This year, Social Security recipients received the largest cost of living adjustment to their monthly benefits in more than 40 years, an increase of nearly 9%. Verify viewer John emailed us to ask if the cost of living adjustment is expected to be as much as 2023. So John, let's verify. Our sources are the Social Security Administration, the Senior Citizen League, and the Center for Retirement Research at Boston College. This year's increase was so large because Social Security is required to keep pace with inflation, which skyrocketed in 2022. But this year, inflation has started to normalize. The Senior Citizens League and Center for Retirement Research estimate the 2024 cost of living adjustment will be around 3%, or about $60 a month for an average retiree. That's still more than an average year, but nowhere near what we saw last year. So, no, the cost of living adjustment in 2024 is not expected to be as much as 2023. Social Security will release the official cost of living adjustment for next year in October. Whether you Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Welcome back to DBL. Sleep is extremely important for a healthy, balanced lifestyle. Here's some tips to help you rest. It's time for some joint and muscle support brought to you by Omega XL. First, get some natural light during the day to regulate your biological clock. Next, set up your bedroom for sleep only, Al. And remove the TV and finally stick to a sleep schedule and avoid eating an hour before bedtime. Omega XL has improved the lives of millions of consumers. Supported by 30 years of clinical research, Omega XL's powerful and proven benefits have transformed the lives of athletes, celebrities, and dedicated daily users. Call 800-725-2612 or visit OmegaXL.com for more information.
I feel like I'm the only one here that doesn't go to sleep with the TV on.
I definitely do.
I know you go to sleep to Curb reruns, right?
All the time.
Yeah, I can't. I like it nice and dark.
All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow.